Let's try this.
Rid yourself of your delusions.
Yeah, it feels so much better in 0.5s. If you give it Merc Wilmos, he can't kill himself, as far as I'm aware. Two containments. Hey guys, today I want to go over a new strategy while on risk scarabs, and that is Abyss Horde. So what is this strategy? How good really is it? And most importantly, how easy and how expensive it is to run it. So this strategy actually revolves around tier 16.5 maps. They are the most optimal if you can get 8 modifiers. I will go over that in a second. Yeah, this is a Abyss strategy. It's something important to note. You pretty much have to be a caster to run this. The reason why is that you open like 100+ chests a map. And what makes this easy is having this caster mastery right here, where it has 25% chance to open a nearby chest when you cast a spell. If you're a melee character, if you're attack-based build, like a bow character, whatever, this strat's extremely annoying to run because you have to open so many chests a map. But if you're a caster, you take caster mastery and it's extremely easy. You just cast spells and all the chests open. You'll see if you run the strat yourself, but yeah. So why are we doing Abyss? Why are we doing tier 16.5s and all that? So the reason why we're doing tier 16.5s is because they're very short maps, because all the loot comes from the Abyss itself and not like any other monster or like the map boss. So tier 16.5 is slightly faster to run, and therefore will probably net more profit per an hour. With that said, only 8 mod tier 60.5s are the most optimal to run. After that, tier 17 is better, and then a regular tier 16, like, you know, Alk and like rolling for it, right, is this third most optimal thing to run. But doing these with like Alk and, you know, Chaos or whatever for like 4 or 5 mods on your map is completely fine. It's still very profitable. It's roughly around 4 to 5 divines per a map profit. With just a 4 to 5 mod tier 16.5. If you do tier 17s or 8 mod tier 16.5s, those are extremely hard. You can probably expect up to 6 divines profit per a map. Now, depending on how fast you run these, obviously really depends on your profit per hour. I was able to do like 6 or 7 maps per an hour. At most, I was getting like 30 to 35 divines per an hour doing this strat. Also, you're a little bit slower, or if you're just doing the easier strat of regular tier 60.5s, you can expect somewhere around 20 to 25 divines per an hour. But most importantly, it's just a very cheap strat. Even after this video, it'll still be extremely cheap. And it's definitely one of the easier risk strats because you're just doing a rollable tier 16.5 and it's only 2 risk. And even if you do get mods that you can't run, it's fine if you leave the map because the investment is so little. You know, essentially, it's 2 Abyss Scarabs, a Edifice, and 2 Scarab risk with a tier 16.5, which you self-sustain these, by the way. So it's somewhere around like 40 to 50 chaos per map. If you take the map cost out, it's like 15 chaos per map. So it's extremely cheap to run these. Even if you have to leave because you get bad risk mods, you'll still make a lot of profit. It's over 4 divines profit per map. Now, we're using Canyon here. The reason why I'm using Canyon is that a lot of maps actually bug out with Abyss. Canyon is one of the few maps that does not bug out with Abyss. So this one is quite nice to run. It's also a natural tier 60.5, meaning you can just Horizon Orb this from other tier 16.5s. It's a 1 in 4 chance, and Horizon Orbs are very, very cheap. So you can buy any other tier 16.5, use Horizon Orbs, and then you're good to go. And what you're looking for on the map is a mixture of more currency and more scarabs. More scarabs is better, but if you have like 70% more scarabs and 60% more currency, that's a runnable map. Essentially, you want like 110 to 120% more scarabs, or like a mixture of more scarabs and more currency equaling up to like 140%. More scarabs is ideal, but if you get like a nice, really high more currency map, like 200% plus, then it's probably worth running as well. Overall, these maps aren't that challenging. It really just depends on what risk modifiers you get. And like I said, you can just leave the map because the investment is pretty low. As for the Atlas tree, I will of course have this link down below, but it's just a standard, you know, all map effect, all quant, and then just taking all the Abyss nodes plus scarab nodes. You drop a lot of scarabs in these maps. You drop a lot of containments, especially when you're doing the 8 mod tier 60.5s. And it's a lot of raw currency. Yeah, it's pretty standard, classic, you know, Atlas tree. Just taking all the scarab nodes, all the map effect, and it's taking all the Abyss nodes because you are doing Abyss. Also, these nodes are pretty important in this league as well. Map element memory influence chance. If you're not taking these, make sure you are taking these with every strategy. They are pretty good. Okay, besides that, the only optional thing here is taking the Corrupted Gaze, which I do think is worth taking, even though I don't have it here. You just spec out these small quant nodes and these Harbinger nodes, and you get some nice 6 mod Abyss jewels, which can sell for quite a bit. So I think that's about it for the strat. It's overall a pretty easy strat. A lot of builds can do this, but you really want to be a caster build. I would not recommend to do this as like an attack based build, like, you know, Fisher or bow build, because you have to open too many chests. But yeah, very nice strat. One last thing to mention, if you want to farm your own 16.58 mods, which I do recommend, they just are a lot more challenging. You will place one Abyss Scarab with a Escalation Scarab, and then replace one Risk Scarab with a Corruption Scarab, and this will force all your tier 60.5s to drop as 8 modifier maps. Make sure when you do this, you only run maps with a high more map multiplier, also won't be very worth it. But yeah, that's about it. If any questions, feel free to comment below. This strat is overall pretty good. Like I said, average like 4 to 5 divine prowess per map. Tier 16.58 mods, I was gonna near 6 divines per map, and it just depends how fast you can run these maps because Abyss is quite slow. But yeah, that's about it.